Hey, what's up? It's Jen, and I'm a wellness coach, and I am here to help you live a healthier lifestyle. If you like the information that I shared today, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and get notified so that you can be one of the first to know when I upload some new healthy lifestyle tips. So, I want to know in the comments, are you a good sleeper? Are you a morning person, a night person? Let me know. We'll continue the discussion down there. So today I'm going to be sharing some really great tips about sleep. I have 7 tips that I'm going to be sharing about how to stay asleep and fall asleep in the evenings. So don't forget to stick around to the end. But before that, I'm going to start talking about how sleep is affected, how it affects your metabolism and your hormones. Why a lot of my clients tend to have issues losing weight because they're not getting quality sleep. So before we get into all of that, I think it's important that we kind of go over like a couple of things. So your body has a natural circadian rhythm, which triggers different things to do during the day and different things to do in the evening. So during the day, we're triggered to be alert and awake and do all the things, eat and run and exercise and do all those kinds of things. In the evening, as the sun starts to go down, we're starting to trigger our bodies to produce more melatonin. That's the hormone that's going to help us fall asleep and stay asleep throughout the night. Lack of sleep and poor sleep can really affect your metabolism and your hormones. So we're going to kind of take a deeper dive into that and get a little sciencey for a minute. Don't worry, it's pretty well broken down. So the first thing we're going to talk about is growth hormone. Our body only produces that while we're sleeping. So if you're not falling asleep on time, getting good sleep, and sleeping soundly throughout the night, your body is not going to be able to produce the growth hormone. So why is that important? Well, it does just what it says. It helps you build that lean muscle. So when you're working out and you're doing some great strength training, you're not going to be able to see the full effects if you're not getting good sleep. What's so great about lean muscle? Well, lean muscle burns more calories while you're at rest. So having more lean muscle is going to directly affect that waistline. Secondly, sleep affects your hunger hormones. So the first one of those, that's ghrelin. That's what tells your body, I'm hungry, feed me right now. The second one is leptin. That's the hormone that tells your body, I'm hungry, I'm full, I don't need to eat any further. Sleep directly affects those two. They really work in a balance. If you're getting good sleep, they're in balance. If you're not getting good sleep, they're out of balance. So what does that mean for your body? Well, if you're not getting good sleep, you're producing more ghrelin and less leptin, which means you're going to want to eat, but you won't know when to stop. We've been there. Thanksgiving happens, random weekends happen, but generally keeping them in balance is going to keep you from overindulging. Thirdly, our brain's sole energy source is glucose, more commonly referred to as sugar. So, if you're not giving your brain proper time to recover and get good sleep, your brain is going to be more likely to want to have more energy. You're going to start craving sugar. You're not going to reach for that apple. You're going to be much more likely to reach for that candy bar, the donut, all those kinds of things that you know aren't going to be good for you. So getting good sleep is going to help reduce some of those sugar cravings. Now that we understand the relationship between sleep, hormones, and metabolism, I've got some really great tips that will help you fall asleep and stay asleep throughout the evening. So tip number 1, it's kind of a big one. Go to sleep at the same time every night. So that can be a real struggle if you tend to stay up later. You can't just take a 1 a.m. bedtime and push it all the way back to 10 p.m. That's not going to work. So my suggestion would be kind of move that dial back just a little bit. Try and go to bed 15 minutes earlier. So if your normal bedtime is 1 a.m., start moving it back to 12:45. Do that for a couple of days, move it to 12:30. It's going to be a slow process, but with all the best things, slow and steady is going to win the race. I also think it's important to point out that if you want to go to bed at 10, don't go into your bedroom at 10. You're going to want to take a little bit of time before that so that you can start to wind down. You're not all pumped up from the day. Tip number 2, wake up at the same time. Now, I know I'm going to get some kickback on that because if during the week you're waking up at 5 a.m. every day, you probably want to sleep in a little bit on the weekend. And I think a little bit of that is fine. A lot of good things can happen early in the morning. Like maybe you get some time on the Xbox or the PlayStation before your kids wake up. Maybe you can have a quiet, enjoyable cup of coffee before all the crazy happens. think about what works best for you. I do think you can still sleep in just a little bit without fully throwing anything off. Tip number 3, and I kind of touched on it in tip number 1, but turn the lights off. Start telling your body that it's time to fall asleep. Just like we're triggering melatonin by the sun starting to set and it getting darker outside, it does the same thing by starting to turn off the lights and not looking at your phone, not watching an exciting, suspenseful movie. All those kinds of things are going to increase and not decrease. And we want to slow it down, wind down, and not get our blood pumping. Tip number 4, get some good exercise throughout the day. If we don't do enough activity throughout the day, our body's going to have all this pent up energy and isn't going to want to relax properly. So make sure you get a good workout in, go for a nice walk, do some yoga, whatever feels good for you. But make sure that you get up and move your body. Tip number 5. I can't talk about something with metabolism without touching on eat a healthy, nutritious diet. Try and get foods that are closer to whole foods, whole grains, eat the rainbow. It's kind of a gimme right there. Tip number 6. Now I know if waking up at the same time on the weekends as you do during the week got you going, this might too. Limit your alcohol and caffeine. Caffeine can stay in your body for up to 18 hours, so even a cup of coffee in the morning can affect you. Now, I'm not giving up my coffee. I don't expect you to either. But I think that if you're really struggling with your sleep, take a look at that and see if maybe you can only stick to your morning coffee and not have anything later on. Set a deadline for you. Maybe after 9 a.m., no more coffee. And as far as that glass of wine or beer goes, try and limit it to 1. If you find you're really struggling, you have to kind of weigh your priorities. What's more important to you? So you can make that decision. My final tip, tip number 7. This is one that I'm holding in my back pocket. I think it's a really great tip, and I think that it's one that a lot of people don't use nearly enough. And that is keep a journal next to your bedside. Now, I don't think you're going to be starting vlogging or doing anything like that or go hardcore on journaling, but I think that it's really important. If you have a lot of anxiety before you go to bed, which is really quite common, it's the end of the day. Sometimes, you've got a lot going on the next day. You had so much going on today and you didn't have enough time to really calm down. Have that notebook. Write down the thoughts or feelings or things like that are really stressing you out. Maybe it's just your to-do list is way too long and you don't want to forget about all the things you have to do. So take a minute, write that down. This is one of those great tips that I found from getting things done. So if you want to check out that video that I did a while back, go ahead and take a look at it. But do a little mini brain dump where you're putting all those things that are stressing you out and holding on into your brain. Simply by writing them down, your brain believes, I can let go, and it breathes a sigh of relief because you don't have to hold it in your brain. You don't have to remember it. It's all written down right there. In the morning, you can pick that notebook up and you can look at your stuff and then get stuff done. This is also really good if you wake up in the middle of the night with some anxiety. Write that down. It's very helpful. Was this helpful today? I hope that it was. Let's continue the discussion in the comments. I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and get notified for the next time I upload a new video. If these were great tips and you loved them and you want to go a little bit deeper and think maybe nutrition coaching would be helpful for you, go ahead and reach out. My contact information is below. Thanks so much and have a great day.